I saw this YouTube ad for Gender Transformation, The Untold Realities official trailer. Now, is this going to be an unbiased representation of the actual reality of gender transition, or is this going to be more leftist propaganda? Let's check it out.
Do you think you'd be happier as a boy?
My mom would never allow it. That's abuse.
Oh, you can hear me.
It's abuse that your mom won't let you mutilate your genitals. Okay, I think I know which way this documentary is going.
Cry, see my dreams all die from where you're standing on your own.
Anybody who's gone through this, it's the same thing.
Sweetie, please.
No. I need you to leave.
Effie,
No.
where are you getting this from?
We're just masquerading.
When did parents become enemy number one?
This is all coming from the top, the major corporations, governments, politicians.
You have a pipeline. It's also in the education system.
So today we're going to talk a bit about genders. We are here to support you.
I feel like I couldn't breathe. My aching body fell to the floor.
I've talked to hundreds, if not thousands of parents. Our stories are all the same.
They told my parents if I wasn't allowed to transition, I would be at risk of suicide.
This was a group where they basically gathered vulnerable children and taught them that it was us against them.
Would you rather have a dead daughter
Or a living son?
That question is asked over and over again, and therapists are trained to say that.
You caused my heart to bleed.
Okay, now I'm confused. Is this pro or anti?
Just to hold me reason. 'Cause I can't figure out why.
it's destroyed my health.
Looking back, it made me feel even more hopeless.
And then I felt down, I felt tired, I felt exhausted. I felt my
Okay. Are we actually going to get some real stories? Okay, I'm on board.
body shakes on its own uncontrollably. I'll never be the same. I was allowed to destroy my body.
They never talk about how much harm is being caused.
You know Joshua Blue Club? He says our closest family are often our worst enemies.
It's separating kids from their
The
parents.
state has decided that Evan should stay at a group home for now, for his safety.
You can hear me cry. See my dreams all die from where you're standing on your own.
I miss you so much, Ed.
Leave him alone.
Like, this is the most important question. Why are they all doing this?
Well, I hope they hit on that 80% of transgender youth have thought about suicide and 40% have attempted suicide. I don't mean to get emotional. I just think of young girls who are forfeiting their ability to carry a child. Young men are forfeiting their ability to procreate and create offspring. And they're doing this before they even really find out what their bodies are. It's such a transformative period of time in your life that it shouldn't be decided when you're still an early teenager. It shouldn't be. They have the first 10 minutes of this documentary for free when you enter your email. So let's watch through it. It's $4 to purchase the whole thing. So if you like this and you want to see a reaction to the full video, let me know down in the comments and we can watch the whole thing.
I look at my brother and everything seems so easy for him. And I just feel confused.
Do you think you'd be happier as a boy?
I don't know.
I've talked to hundreds of
See, that felt scripted. So maybe there's going to be kind of a scripted element around the actual stories. I don't know. Keep watching.
not thousands of parents. Our stories are all the same. It follows a pattern. Something's going on at the school.
Our Our public schools have changed. 5 years ago, gender fluid was not something that we even knew about.
I told the therapist, I think I might be transgender, but I don't really know and I need your help.
He affirmed me immediately.
Immediately, she affirmed me as a transgender woman.
If I were to explore with a person about why they believe they're in the wrong body, my license would now be under threat.
Most importantly, your child is clearly showing signs of being suicidal.
Wow, that's powerful. If you stand against the diagnosis that they want you to have because this is the norm now to be transgender, you could lose your license. This is the norm. This is sickening.
Would you rather want a dead daughter or a living son?
But this wasn't true.
Wow.
These kids are getting put on puberty blockers like after the first visit, or they're just getting pushed through this pipeline of surgery.
It's a political agenda being worked out, and kids are sort of a test subject.
And then I felt down, I felt tired, I felt exhausted, my mom said I looked like a pale ghost. I started becoming dysfunctional in just about every area of my life. Come to find out, I had 2 weeks to live.
My daughter was in pain. She used to cry, she couldn't sleep, she couldn't concentrate.
The left wants to believe that by normalizing transgenderism, making it a social norm that's not only accepted but encouraged, that people going through transition will be happier. When in reality, it's not a battle against society, it's a battle within themselves. It's a mental battle, it's a physical battle against their own biology, against their own genetics. And no matter what society says, they're still going to struggle with who they are. And that's not something that we can change, even if we applaud transgenderism and encourage it. In fact, that's dangerous and that is harmful because these are individuals that are still trying to figure out what the hell they want to do with their lives, who they want to be, what they want to become. And that doesn't happen when you're 13, 14, 15 years old.
This is all coming from the top of society. It's coming with great big gobs of money, millions and millions and millions of dollars being funneled into all our institutions to drive this down into the culture. The major corporations, major banks, international law firms, all our big technology companies, government.
You look at people like Caitlyn Jenner, Dylan Mulvaney, who are put on a pedestal. Dylan Mulvaney just got a Streamer Award. Caitlyn Jenner won Woman of the Year in her first year as a woman. Transitioned individuals and people who just say they're the opposite gender are being idolized. They're being put into the spotlight in advertising and marketing unfairly. All of a sudden, there's an expectation here that you should be this in order to be happy, in order to be successful. You must deny your biological birthright. You must deny what you are biologically.
Governments, politicians at the highest echelons of Western societies. Why are they all doing this simultaneously?
My name is Abigail Martinez. I live in California.
California, that's your first problem.
She grew up as a happy little girl, the girly girl in the family. She was the most beautiful and happy little girl.
Talk to hundreds, if not thousands of parents. Our stories are all the same. It follows a pattern. And that was the first entrance point for me to figure out something's going on at the school.
How do you fight back against an entire school system and psychiatrists who are encouraged to give their professional opinions that your son or daughter needs to transition into the opposite gender to be happy, to take these dangerous medications that suppress your testosterone or your estrogen, or even recommend transition therapy that's irreversible?
My name is Kali Fontania, and I am a former public school teacher of 15 years. Our public schools have changed. 5 years ago, there was no students that were identifying as non-binary. Gender fluid was not something that we even knew about.
Another case to homeschool your kids.
We're also having an epidemic of girls transitioning more than boys.
Whew, I like how she calls it an epidemic. Okay, I like her.
A lot of the children and teenagers and high schoolers that are questioning their gender and having gender identity crisis are being driven by the teachers.
Okay, so this girl is obviously in a narrative. She's in a scripted role. But hopefully we hear from some actual transitioned youth that can tell people why it's not a good idea.
You know, the term gender identity, it was coined by psychiatrist Professor Robert J. Stoller in 1964. And then it was popularized by psychologist John Money. He was one of the first researchers to publish theories about how societal constructs of gender influence the individual formation of gender identity.
And this is where gender-affirming care comes from.
This is counterculture. I love it.
In fact, the only study intended to prove this theory of gender identity being separate from biology failed miserably, and that was the study that John Money did with the famous twins, the Reamer twins. One of them had an accident. His penis was burnt off. His parents were at a loss of how to raise him, what to do with him. And they turned to the gender expert at the time, John Money, and John Money told them, not a problem, raise him as a girl. He's only 18 months old. He's going to need some operations. He's going to need some hormones, but he will be comfortable as a woman. But Money did not report that his experiment that spanned 10 years was an abysmal failure. He reported that it was a success. Money's theory was widely accepted within psychology and psychiatry and sociology, and gender studies was based on his fraudulent research.
And he was also the first to establish a clinic where he could perform gender reassignment surgeries for people who suffer from gender dysphoria.
At the age of, 13, I believe is when she was struggling with depression.
Hey, how was school, honey?
Fine.
I made your favorite dish.
I'm not hungry.
But the depression was pretty bad. What she needed was mental health to find out why she was struggling.
The teen years are a time to explore, right? Experiment, try new things, figure out what you like. You won't be able to get out there and show the world who you really are and experience all the beautiful wonders of the world.
I guess.
When did you start feeling this way?
I look at my brother and everything seems so easy for him. And I just feel confused.
Grass is always greener on the other side.
Do you think you'd be happier as a boy?
I wonder how many psychiatrists, therapists plant that seed.
I don't know. Maybe.
You should join this club. I think they can really help you through this.
Probably in about junior high, their bodies are changing and they are so confused by what they are. The most dangerous thing about this culturally responsive curriculum.
All right, that's the first 10 minutes. The scary thing is that this is happening today. There are some states that don't require parents to know if their children is talking about transitioning with their counselor. Children have even been given transitional medication without parents knowing.
Accusations, hundreds of children were given medication, some of it experimental, at a transgender center in St. Louis without parental permission.
Some people may need to go to jail. You don't get to take kids in and tell them that they need to have their gender reassigned, lie to them about what the effects will be, which is sterilization in many instances.
Anyway, that YouTube ad popped up. I figured I'd check it out. It looks like it is doing a good job of showing the reality around gender affirming care and how schools are effectively grooming children into transitioning. If you want to see my reaction to the full video, leave a comment down below. Thanks for sticking around this long. I'll see you next time on Conservative Vibes.